Yo, yo, yo! What's up, YouTubers? What's this yo-yo talking about now? Structure and culture. Okay, so when I turned the truck off, it won't start. I had to get a jump start. I pull up there to Procter & Gamble to drop a hook, turn the truck off, talk to him, the truck won't start. Imagine that. I do not have a jump box. So I called somebody, paid $75 for them to come out. And in the midst of that struggle, the people were super nice. I was nice to them and everything, you know. I got a couple bananas, you know, so I'm just going bananas, right? And I'm waiting on these people, and I have the opportunity to send in a message. So I'm talking to the boss man. I'm like, freight is a 24/7 situation, right? And then earlier today, I was talking with somebody, and he pulled for Tyson out of Chicago, and so he's running reefer unit and all that. Well, I was talking to him about how the Texicans, you know, a lot of them, they got a Catholic background, and that's real structured, whereas in the South, you know, I mean, we're liable to run laps around the church or whatever, so it's kind of chaotic. And the way religion bleeds over into your rest of your life, you know. So the Torah observant type folks, they are going to be just on a level that is special, you know, because they've had special education, they've had a special training, they've committed themselves to attempt to live by the Mosaic law. So Torah observant means they're looking at it, so that's good. I mean, you're looking at it, but then to also be a Christian, you know what I mean? Like believing in Messiah, you know, however you want to say that. So, you know, following the way of Jesus in a structured pattern where I know this is right, I know this is wrong, and then also having the opportunity to have the Holy Ghost just narrating and bringing to you what you specifically need for your situation, however it may fall. And, you know, you can have some stuff just kind of glides in, and then other stuff is just like, it seems like it comes out of nowhere. And if you find the things, like if you'll go back and write down everything that just hits you out of the blue, like you see people after car wreck, they're like, oh, it just came out of nowhere. Well, you just told everybody that you're not paying attention. Okay, so take that to heart right now and go back and look at what hit you out of the blue. You know, did they cheat on you? Did the, you know, maintenance, whatever, the truck broke down, the truck won't start. Well, hell, I knew the truck wasn't going to start when I turned it off, but I wasn't thinking about it. I just couldn't hear the lady talking, trying to be polite, turn the truck off. I go to start it, and when it would start earlier was after just a couple minutes. But when I needed to jump start down in Florida, it hadn't been set for quite a while. So I knew the batteries was getting weak, and they were losing charge quick. But I didn't realize it would lose the charge in 3 minutes to where it wouldn't start. I thought I still had, you know, because the other time I sat there for, you know, well over an hour, got the air conditioner or the food refrigerator thing plugged in and all that. So I'm assuming that's what ran this thing down. So I thought I had a little more leeway than I did. However, I've known for 6 weeks that I need a set of batteries. I just haven't took the time to stop and all that and everything. And it's at this company, they don't do all that APU and all that kind of stuff because it's extra maintenance, and then it's 117 degrees all summer, so it don't make no sense to have an APU that can't keep up with that kind of hot. You have to have the truck running to not suffocate in the desert, because it really is 117 degrees on the regular in the parking lots. Now when you get away from, you know, the asphalt, it's different. But when you're at a truck stop with 150 trucks idling all around you in the direct Mexican sun, I mean, like, it's enough to make a preacher cuss. And so the way your religion bleeds over into the rest of your life. And as you put God as the most high in your life, and that's your highest priority, you know what I mean? It takes on a role of responsibility that you're just not going to have otherwise. An imperfect religion is taking care of orphans and widows in their time of need. So that's got the implications of I'm squared away, and I got systems in place. My cardiovascular system's working. You know what I mean? Like my truck don't break down, whatever. I'm squared away to the point where I can reach out and gift a hand up to the widows and orphans. You know what I mean? So, and I should also be looking to see if there happens to be any widows or orphans in my vicinity that I can help. And also in the yonder, like way over yonder, there's like yonder, way over yonder, and then when the roll's called up yonder, so once they're up there at roll call, thank you Jesus or whatever, after they've passed away, but while they're on the earth in a human body, it doesn't matter if they're in Africa, Timbuktu, Australia, or next door. But my proximity should be for myself. The way I do it, I got to take care of my neighbor, right? So we got widows and orphans, and then take care of your neighbor. So I want to take care of the widows and orphans right next to me first. So that's like a pecking order in my head. But then there's also the need. You know what I mean? So if the person next to me is a widow that just, is struggling a little bit, that's a lot different than an orphan. That's a lot different than a third world country struggle versus a United States struggle. And I should seek the guidance of the Holy Spirit of how to negotiate that situation. Now, when it's completely obvious to everybody that there's entire swaths of people in power that are doing bad things to widows and orphans, then we have to oust them. We cannot allow that. It's not appropriate to leave them in power. Now, how we go about that is dangerous. But, I'm anti-Satan. You know what I mean? Like, when I go down there to vote, I'm out here. I was listening to a guy, and he's like, "Be excellent" or whatever. And I'm at the rest stop in New York State 2 years ago. I'm doing this, doing that. I'm on the way in, and on the handicap sidewalk, I see some gum. So I go to pick it up, and it just grosses me out, bro. Like, I'm a little bit grossed out right now just thinking about it. You know what I mean? And anyway, if it's moist and not yours, don't touch it, right? So anyway, I'm picking this gum off the sidewalk or whatever. I'm walking back to the truck, and I'm just like, I'm a little bit mad, and I'm like, I have been influenced by trying to do right to the point that I'm picking up juicy gum. But I ain't gonna leave that for some old lady to step on or get it in her walker or trip and fall down or whatever, you know what I mean? And so that helps the old lady across the street type of deal, right? And then I'm like, who can I vote for that's gonna do the same thing? You know what I mean? Like which politician is gonna stop at the rest stop and say, hang on a second, let me pick this gum up off the ground? You know what I mean? Which one of these people is like, well, I'm going to try to do the best I can, but, when these people try to bribe me, or they try to threaten my way of life, or the circumstances of my kinfolk, and heaven forbid they go so far as to try to assassinate me or something else like that, bro, I ain't got nothing for you. At that point, like, you gotta try to squeeze one off at me, dude. It's on like Donkey Kong. Like, I don't even care. And the last thing I'm going to do is talk about it. I'll just say that. You know what I mean? Like, my uncle, he said to me, he said, well, it's good that you got on here and you vented about how so-and-so did you wrong. And you could do this, you could do that, or whatever. But now that you've said it out loud, you can't do it because they'll know it's you. And I'm like, yeah, it is good to vent and get that off my chest or whatever else like that. And, but we're D-grabs. So I understand what the guy told me was, don't tell on yourself. Keep that shit to yourself. What you're actually doing, don't tell nobody. If it's going to get you hemmed up, which goes back to don't tell on yourself, which goes back to pray to God and be like, Holy Ghost, what would you have me do? And when you hear him, you know, if I'm listening to the Holy Ghost, the set apart Spirit of God, and he's telling me something different than what the Bible commands me to do, that might be a demon. Okay? So test the spirits, right? And you test it directly by the Mosaic Law. That's how you test them. Because if it's going against that, if it's anti-Mosaic Law, if it's against that, then it's evil. And I want to be anti-Satan. So anything that goes against God is literally the enemy, Satan. So I want to be anti-Satan. I can't let it stand. I can't roll with that. It just ain't right. You see what I'm saying? So in these moments that you find yourself in these various situations, you got to be careful. You got to be real careful. And you got to watch your boundaries. Like, you know, just now, I think I was doing 65 and a 45, but I slowed down before I seen the sign. So the cop just backed up a little bit. But I don't know if he's getting behind me or not. I don't know where he went. But he is not behind me, but I slowed down before the sign. So it was like 60 and it dropped down to 45. So I was speeding by 5 miles an hour, but now I'm going the speed limit through the little town. And this is a little town in Georgia, right? So I got to know, you know, sometimes I'm pushing the boundaries because I got an hour and 13 minutes to go an hour and 26 minute drive, you know? And I'm at the end of my 70-hour clock, you know what I mean? And the truck broke down, I had to get it fixed, I had to pay out of my pocket and all this. Life happening at the speed of life and having that direct connection to know what's right, what's wrong. So I know I got to stop down here and I'm about out of fuel. So the fuel stop is 75 miles and I got not enough fuel to set for the night and then drive. So I got to make the choice to stop, keep the clock legal because I'm running recaps. I don't want any tickets, you know, so I got to run the speed limit. I got to stay in my lane. I got to, you know, make it all work. Make it make sense. And stay legal about it, right? So I can drive illegally and go, and when I get there, fill the truck up with fuel and not worry about leaving it running. And obviously I got to leave it running because if I turn it off, and at midnight I get time back. So I can legally move the truck at midnight, but I don't have enough to drive there and let it idle. So I am going to stop at a little spot that has diesel fuel, and I'm going to park there. I'm going to sleep, and then when I wake up, I'll assess whether or not I have enough fuel to get to the fuel stop where the company card works or whatever. That's within our fuel discount network or whatever. So that's all a thing, right? So I know that I can go and do this, and I can get this done. I can stay within the legal means, and I can stay within this is legal, and I can do this, you know, and I can have this phone attached to the dash, so it's hands-free. So it's all legal. It's all legit. It's legal and legit, right? That's me taking care of my business, okay, so that I can forward the whole company, right? Okay, so I'm sitting there and I'm waiting and I start typing this out. I'm like, in my head, I'm like, you know, it's bullshit. I can't get a hold of nobody. I understand it's Sunday. Nobody wants to work on Sunday. I get it. Y'all are, you know, Texicans call Sunday the Sabbath. So I'm glad that they're taking off. I'm glad that they're that hardcore Jesus that they're not going to answer the phone on a Sunday. But freight is a 24/7 endeavor. You know what I mean? So if you're going to allow your vehicles to move on Sunday, somebody needs to be holding the phone. So I was able to come up with some stuff and be like, hey, this makes sense because of this. You know, we just like have a phone, get a red case to put on the phone, and then just like hold the phone. You know, it's like the hot potato. And you give it to each person, right? And then by doing that, you can say, hey, you know, when the salesman goes to get this contract, you know, if he stands up in the middle of the meeting and they're like, why should we use Unimex Logistics? And you'd be like, well, here's one reason. Speed dial, loudspeaker. Someone answers, hello, this is Unimex hotline. How can I help you with your circumstances? Oh, well, I'm so-and-so with such and such, blah, blah. Is there a breakdown? Is there an accident? Do I need this pickup number? Whatever. And whoever answers this phone can have access to the system to give that information to that person. You know what I mean? And now, you know, if I'm putting in a bid with a, you know, Procter & Gamble to move 6 loads a day, 7 days a week for 3 years at a rate of XYZ, and they're like, well, your bid is higher than, Yabba Dabba Do It Sons Transport. Why should we go with you instead of them? Like, well, you know, here's our network, here's our equipment. Oh, and by the way, here, blah, blah, this, that, how can I help you with your circumstances? Like, yeah, I was just called to check with, truck number 567, trailer number 8301 on load XYZ, whatever, you know what I mean? And then, if I, need a jump start, I'd call up and say, hey, I need a jump start, and then they can look, I can look, whatever, it doesn't matter. But instead of me paying out of my pocket and getting reimbursed, they can just pay over the phone with their card. You know what I mean? And it'd be done that way. And that's good for the company because the company would then be able to build up points on this card. You know what I mean? And if all the road service is handled with a credit card and all those points go on there, that's making money instead of spending money on a stupid comp check. Okay, so you get all these points built up on this card that you're paying every month. It's literally cost less than comp checks, literally faster. And, used to you had a tire account with Love's, and now, oh, well, you got an account, well, jump through this hoop, jump through that hoop, blah, blah, blah. I walk into Love's, I'm like, I need that tire right there put on. They put it on, okay, that's $450. Swipe the card, get a receipt, walk out the door. That makes sense. No big trucking company's doing that. These are the things that little guys do that make them more efficient and better than the big guys. And if I can take medium guy and flip him into little guy with culture, bid against big guy, if I make them wealthy, rich will rub off on me, and I'm practicing in the meantime and watching to see if this shit works or not. Does that mean I'm going to run a company with 400 trucks and 2,000 trailers? Maybe in the beginning. Practicing these systems before I have my own company has got to be one of the best gifts from God for a business person. Like, imagine if you're just going to run a Fortune 500 logistics outfit before you ever bought a truck. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just living my life. I live my life a quarter mile at a time. And now I'm living my... That Vin Diesel is so stupid. 40 mile at a time, living my life one load to the next or whatever. Anyway, so I'm able to type all this stuff up while I'm aggressively waiting for the jump start. And the whole time, you know, I know when this guy gets here, he's going to have a jump pack. And he's got this little jump pack thing. He puts it on there. The guy can't even see. And I'm like, he's like, can you see where to put it on? I'm like, yeah. I told him, I said, it's going to be the best, the easiest $75 you ever made. Or you're going to make this month. So I put the jump pack on myself. He pushed the button. He's like, wait for that light. Light, come on, hit the switch. The truck cycles through its thing. I hit the starter, fires right up. Took the stuff off, rolled it up, handed it to him. I said, like I told you, easiest $75 you're going to make all month. And it wasn't even the guy, it was the guy's dad. And it's a little no-name, you know, and he seemed like he was amazed somebody would pay $75 for that. Like, for them, it was a lot. But for a trucking company, bro, this standard jump start fee is $200. You know what I mean? And I told this guy, I was like, look, man, if you guys will show up and actually work on these trailers and stuff, you know what I mean? If I'd call you and be like, hey, we got 4 trailers that need this, that, and the other, and you guys will actually go over there and fix that shit, you know, I'll give your number to my boss or whatever else like that. You know, and it's P&G. So they could leave their business card with the guards and stuff, and when the guard has some kind of cockamamie whatever going down, instead of them saying, well, I don't know what to do with this truck that's completely blocking the entrance or the exit, shutting down this facility that's processing semi-trucks at a rate of one every 10 to 15 minutes. Truckloads are coming out every 10 to 15 minutes. Coming in, going out. Every 10 to 15 minutes. This is a logistics hub. And their exit has one lane. The other lane is blocked off with giant concrete blocks. So if that would have happened while I was leaving, they would have shut the whole place down for an hour and a half. You know what I mean? So I'm able to tell this dude, I'm like, bro, you need to put some business cards over here. You know what I mean? And do a little marketing or whatever else like that. I'll be sure to tell my boss what's up. He's like, yeah, we can't quite tow semi-trucks. I said, no, but they drop and pick up trailers here. So, you know, if the trailer's got a problem, I'm like, look at all those trailers. There's freaking 1,000 trailers sitting there. No shit. 1,000 trailers, various companies. One of them's got a flat right now, guaranteed. Could you change a flat? Well, yeah. Might want to leave a card. You know what I mean? I want to go across the street. Let them know. You know, and Southern Tire Mart's right across the street. So, you know, and they're not attached to that, what you call it, that little no-name truck stop. So, you know what I mean? They wouldn't have any trouble with you, like, you know, just print out a piece of paper that's got your number across the bottom or whatever, or you just tear one off. I mean, old school, small town marketing. Just like put your thing up on the bulletin board. Go down to the Flying J. You know, like when first thing I do when I break down is I go into the store I'm at and say, who's the local guy that'll show up? Like, that's why you're qualified. That's why you're better than this other dude. You know, he's on a national hotline, and the hotline gives the leads to the actual guy, and blah, blah, this, that. Middleman is delay is money. So if you'll come out here for $75, 24/7, and jumpstart this truck, you're an asset to my company. And like, you just don't know how to market this deal to all these companies. And the way you'll get that is they'll be like, well, I broke down here. What do I do? You know what I'm saying? Which gets us into the whole, you know, if I'm going to start a company, really, you know, help the world do better, it would be a, you know, a breakdown service. Like, I mean, you can totally do everything I just said from anywhere USA typing. Hey, this dude that'll do it for $75, dude, everybody's used to paying $200. So just do that shit for, 100. You know what I mean? And everybody wins. I mean, it's really that simple. You know what I mean? And I Googled, breakdown service near me. I'm not like some genius. But these people that make big money are connecting dots. And now they've done that. And now they get their head real big. And they're like, get greedy and everything else like that. So you come in, you provide the service, and then you provide it for less money. People say, well, yeah, at the beginning, they do it for less and then up your prices later. Once you get investors and stuff, then you can start upping your prices to make more money. But if we're at, becomingexcellent.com or whatever, then we're gonna do the right thing. It's like that farmer on Shark Tank, where he's like, they're like, you can charge $300 for this. He's like, yeah, but it only cost me $60 to make it. So 85 is enough profit for me, and I'm not sticking it to the little guy. You know what I mean? So that rolls us right back into this anti-Satan way of outlook and living. You know what I mean? Which is the real legacy. You want to leave legacy for your kids? Okay, no satanic shit in your country. How about that? How about kicking Satan's ass completely out of your way of living day to day and help your neighbor do that? You got a better plan? You got a better plan? I mean, really, do you? And then what is the end of that road? See, the thing about driving a truck is I have to know where I'm going first before I start driving. You know what I mean? So yeah, man, dude, have the goals and dreams. You know what I'm saying? Have the Ferrari, have the big house, have the big family. Yeah, do that. Freaking Job was the richest dude. Solomon, rich, wise, the whole 9 yards. Put God first, and He'll add all these things to you. You know what I mean? But I can't do it for the nookie. Have you even seen Fred Durst lately? He looks like he's older than I am, because he is. I see he was in Mexico City, and he comes out there, and he was singing. It looks like Grandpa's out there trying to be a punk rocker or whatever. I was like, bro, grow up, dude. Grow up already. I mean, I ain't picking on Fred, you know what I mean? Uncle Fred over here, you know what I mean? He's doing it for the thing. He's like, yeah. I don't know what you do with cookies, Fred, but knock that shit off. Sing a different tune. I did watch the part where he sang. It was just the riff leading up to it, and he walks out there and he's all fat and old, but he's still got on like 90s clothes. And I'm just like, Grandpa escaped the nursing home. Grandpa is tired of the cookies at the nursing home. What's that joke? Oh, well, I got a real good joke, but like, I'm trying to repent from coarse jesting. I have a freaking hilarious joke right now that I'm not going to tell. Very hard not to tell. It is hilarious. Definitely a truck stop joke about nursing homes. Anyway. So I'm typing this thing out. The guy shows up. I end up finishing the thing out. When I go to get my deal, I'm creeping along there. And then it's like, do I take the time to do the pre-trip and all that? Yeah. But I just left the whole thing as off duty on my clock because I can't do nothing, you know what I mean? So I'm just off duty or whatever. And then I go back online, do all my stuff legal and legit. Now I'm rolling down the road. I got 60 miles to the destination. The fuel light has not come on yet, so it's barely moved. So I think I can stop over here approximately midnight, get my time back, roll directly to the fuel stop and fill it up. and then, probably just park, sleep, you know what I mean, whatever. And, yeah. So I'm going to stay legal and all that kind of stuff. But I'm going to have this talk with my boss about this hot phone. So you're going to have to be able to do these different departmental things. So your load planner, and then you got your customer service, your dispatch, dealing with the trucks and all that, breakdown services, how to find that, how to do that. You got your payroll deductions and stuff. You got things you're going to have to be able to make a comp check or use this credit card system that I've been talking about or whatever like that, which Capital One Business Spark Card, you can give a card to your employee to buy fuel and stuff like that, and you just cap it at whatever that dude makes. You know what I mean? So if you're running payroll, a week behind or whatever, then you can like say this dude makes $1,000 a week, and you set the limit at $1,000. This dude goes stupid and just spends $900 at the casino. Well, it don't matter because you just take it out of his check. You know what I mean? So that's your safety valve for the stealing, because they're going to steal. And then, no receipt, no return. The cool thing about the credit card system is the credit card can be attached to a company phone, where the company phone is set up with an email. Right? So now you're putting a phone in the truck for the truck tracking, and that goes with your brokers and all that kind of stuff like that. And you can have that with the card. So now with the card, you're an authorized user on the card, which, work that system out. So now something happens and this relay thing ain't working, and you got to get fuel at a no-name stop or whatever else, like the situation with the fuel. Well, I wouldn't have no anxiety. I could just pull in here, do a 10, wake up, be like, okay, I need 6 gallons to get from here to the fuel stop. You know what I mean? Or, say I'm somewhere, the relay app ain't working, and I got to pay a lumper. You know what I mean? Do you want me to miss a delivery and all this kind of stuff? You know what I mean? Because our job is to move freight. That's the point. So knowing my destination, I got to know where that's at so I can get there. Then after I've done this for years, I noticed that when I have problems and these life happens and I got to deal with that, how am I dealing with it now? How can I improve that? How can I simplify this system, right? So by doing that and everything, and then having a breakdown phone, a hotline, and then it's like the hot potato, right? So in the beginning, as a trial run, you teach one person to do everything in the whole entire building. Now that person gets to hold the phone, right? And then whatever comes through, and you're paying with this credit card, this $75 or whatever like that, and you're getting points, whatever like that, then the points that you generate go on your check for the hassle of holding the phone. But then you explain to the person, look, I'm going to show you how to run a trucking company. Like, this is on the job training. Like, you got your job. You're going to go over and above and hold this phone and learn how to do every department in here. And we're going to get somebody that holds the phone. So you're giving us your time and talent for this education. And this is going to, and we're going to pass this around the office until everybody can do it. And then, the more people that do it, here's the first guy, they're working it out. Here's the next guy, the next guy, the next guy, the next guy. And then the people that are speaking English learn Spanish, and the people that are speaking Spanish learn English, because business, you're on the Mexican border. You're not really qualified to work at this company if you can't speak English and Spanish. You know what I mean? Like, that's a marketable skill. So we're going to task you with holding the phone, and you're going to gain marketable skills. You know what I mean? And we're going to move this whole company up. And the people that are here now, learning this now, when this company increases by 4,000%, and we're dealing with 100,000 trailers and 1,000 trucks on the road, everybody in here will be able to work a different department. And we'll put one in San Antonio. We'll put one in Dallas. We'll put one in, freaking Marietta, Florida, or whatever. And position these things where we have one in Chicago. You know what I mean? All the trucking places up there that's been doing sideways shit, they're going to go out of business. That land's going to become available. And you snag a piece of real estate on the cheap when somebody goes broke and out of business, all that kind of stuff like that, that's just got, a place to park trailers. You could just get a little office and put it there wherever you want. You know what I mean? And then being able to run this stuff remote, your people down there, the Texicans, that can deal with all of this stuff, your middle management, you'll be elevating them from, various departments to all the departments, but you're growing them into being heads in various places, right? So once they see that, they're like, hey, this vision is bigger than us. You can come along, you can sign up for, Red Phone Logistics or whatever, hold the phone program, are you going to hold the phone and do what it takes? You know what I mean? You're going to answer this phone at 2:15 a.m. on the first ring? Well, that's a lot to ask out of somebody. After hours for free. But you ain't doing it for free. You're learning how to run a trucking company. You know what I mean? And now if these people stay or go or whatever, they would have learned all they could learn at this facility. Now they're over here yonder. 20 years from now, and here comes this guy. He's like, oh man, I need this or that or whatever. I got this contract or whatever like that, and I need more capacity to be eligible. And then ABC calls 1, 2, 3, and they're like, hey man, yeah, hey, dude, you know how to hold the phone? Well, yeah, I already know that much about this dude. I already know that, Maria can do, everything payroll, but I don't know that she can dispatch a load or fix a tire. But if she did, she could run the whole freaking company just about, and it ain't that big a deal. It's really not. And then, like, how many calls are you actually getting, Saturday and Sunday? You know what I'm saying? So, like you're going to get this whole entire education and just be put out every day. Oh, man, I got to hold the phone. You know what I mean? And then you got friends inside the company, the water cooler talk. Hey, I was holding the phone the other day and this happened. Oh, when that happens, do it like this or that. You know what I'm saying? And then just like every 90 days, we got a pizza party for Hold the Phone. Hold the Phone mixer. You know what I'm saying? And we get the best pizza. I say pizza because down there on the border, they got Tex-Mex, right? So everywhere else in the world, it's like, hey, let's go to the Mexican restaurant. But, when you're Mexican, kind of loses, like, I ate tacos all week, Like, give me some authentic, bring some pizza from Sicily. Or at least the recipe or something, I mean, not necessarily Domino's, but just like, really good pizza or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Maybe some freaking barbecue. I don't know. It's Texas. Like, I can't think of better food anywhere. So, anyway. But it's like a mixer. You know what I mean? Be like, hey, bring your wife and kids. We're going to meet at such and such park for a party and do stuff when we get there, whatever. You know what I mean? And, yeah. And then branch out a little bit, I mean, I hear there's a lot of money in daycare. And that's when somebody said, well, if those were legit, why is nobody complaining there ain't nobody to watch the kids now? You know what I mean? Anyway, that's more, and just the whole thing under a give a shit. You know what I mean? Like, the whole thing is because I give a shit. You know what I mean? I got my mind on my business. I'm minding my business. You know what I mean? And then let's bring in some speakers to talk about stuff and be like, hey man, I'm going to mind my own business, and where I get my check is my own business. Newsflash. If you own your workplace in your head, just do this thing like, show them that show, Undercover Boss. Okay? He's doing the things. He's figuring out this. He's figuring out that. You know what I mean? Just take him in there, feed him a pizza, and from, 2 o'clock on a Saturday till 4 o'clock, we're all in an air-conditioned room. Everybody's going to get a, $100 for being there. There's 40 people. So I'm going to spend $4,000 today to get all my people in a room after they can eat, do stuff. We're drop about 10 grand on this deal. And got everybody in the business has the mindset that they own the business. This is their business. You own this place. All right. Monday rolls around. You ain't walking in that door the same. You ain't gonna walk in that door the same way that you was. You was this away one day. Now you've watched Undercover Boss. You're walking through the door different. You're looking at everybody like, are you doing your job? Like your accountability of self and others has elevated. And I come up with a slogan. I see the slogan too. It's like Unibex. We're not perfect yet. We're not perfect yet. Make no mistake about it. Make no bones about it. That's what we're pointing at. We're going towards excellence. We are moving towards excellence. And it's a good way to judge if things are appropriately, being handled. You know what I mean? Like right now, I'm pulling up to this thing, and I'm gonna roll through here. And if I tear something up, that's not excellent. If I got to do some extra paperwork, that's not excellent. You know what I mean? If I'm thinking about stuff, I probably should have the camera the other way. Like I'm going around one of them small town. They got the thing around the square downtown at the square in a semi truck. Which, this is the route. It's just the way it is here. Anyways, what's this place? Colgate, Georgia or something? Anyway, very easy to tear some stuff up. And there probably is a better route. And that would be excellent if I knew that. And if this company phone that we've been talking about was pre-programmed with Garmin or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just going to set this driver up to move freight completely. And it's so stupid, dude. I've never seen another industry like it, dude. I mean, the trucking thing, everybody will just work for nothing and then expect things like they'll want you to bring your own phone and have these apps and buy your own GPS, whole 9 yards. You know what I mean? And like right now, I'm just sitting here. I'm in a hurry. My time's going, everything else like that. But I know that if I turn just a little bit right now, there's people behind me. That trailer's going to be in their lane. So I just waited. No big deal. You know what I mean? What'd that take? How long did I wait right there? 30 seconds? And then now I'm out here on the big road, just like that. Now, if this thing would have been a truck route, accessible thing or whatever else like that, do I need that every day? No. But right there in that moment, that knowing which way to go and do it right type of deal. You know what I mean? Because you can run your own phone with your, Googles or whatever, and then have your truck phone that tells you the truck route stuff. And when they agree, they agree. And when they don't, double check that stuff. And I've drove through here a couple times. So it ain't the first time I've been through here. So just keep moving the ball forward. I want you wealthy so rich rubs off on me. You know what I'm saying? Just how can I make this better? You know, if it's worth complaining about, it's worth praying about. If it's to the point that you need prayer, back your whole life up and reassess your problem solving. You should be praying first. You shouldn't be, I've tried everything and now I'm going to pray about it. You know what I mean? Like, you should see something. If it's worth complaining about, it's worth praying about. It's like, oh, this is less than excellent. God, what do I do? And I want to train the heads that are currently working at Unimex to do that for that reason. And then on down the road, even if they go somewhere else, they have a network of hold the phone. And that still brings everything right on back to, you know, anti-Satan. I'm anti-Satan. You know what I mean? I want to do the right. The rising tide lifts all ships. You know what I mean? Which implies that maybe I should build a dam and raise everything up and then have a relief from that raising. Something along the lines of hydroelectric dam. You know what I mean? And maybe when that water comes shooting out of there, I will put another turbine 7 foot down. And then another one 7 foot down from there. You're going to be like, why are we running all this water through the dam one time? We can do this 7 times at 7 foot of fall and put, 7 times the generation capacity on the Hoover Dam. Just little stuff like that. Like make it make sense. I thought about that for 0.3 seconds. Just now. But in the past, I've wrote down things about hydroelectric dams over and over and over. You know what I mean? And I've been trying to give this stuff away for years, literally. I've been sent in prison to write whole just stuff. I would look at the old stuff and then look at what's going on now, and I'm just like, oh yeah. Well, here's how you make a desalinization plant, generate electricity 3 different ways by basically using the St. Louis Arch, have 2 of them, make a little chutes and ladders in between the 2, and then like a micro version of that, I can put in my garage to, raise fish and have vegetables, just like a vegetable garden wall with some minnow tanks. One of them just happens to have tilapia. Are you picking up what I'm putting down? Are you tracking with me? These things can be done. These things can be done. These things will be done in the name of Jesus. By God. I didn't come out here to get all dressed up fancy and everything else like that. You know what I'm saying? If I need to go a little Doc Brown on you and take you back to the future or whatever, we're just about to get it done. When I got married, my wife she asked me a great question. She says, well, what do you do? I'm like, well, I do this. She said, no, but what do you do? I said, well, I specialize in done. Finished, complete projects. Whatever that is. Whatever that is. You know what I mean? Present me what needs to be done, and I will get it done. Because I specialize in done. Finished, complete, on to the next one. And some of this stuff's a lot longer a process than I ever imagined. And, all praise to God. I'm just happy to be a part of it and everything. And I'm going to be out here going in and doing it and doing it and going in and going in and doing it and doing it and going in and doing it forever. So I might as well get these systems in place now and, be able to find my butt with both hands in a compass. Get real, you know what I mean? I mean tangible faith, I want these mustard seeds to grow into full-size trees and shelter the birds of the air. Because I'll get shade out of this deal and fertilizer if I put if I put a tarp under the branches to catch the bird manure, which is very good fertilizer. I mean, it's all systems. It's all the circle of life. I observe the circle of life. I see what's going on. Then I break that down. You know, you go from the ecosystem all the way to like pick up the freight here, put it in the truck, drive over there, take it out of the truck. Dock to dock logistics. That's a lot easier than a freaking biodome. What was it, Pauly Shore or whatever like that? They're out there in the desert trying to make an ecosystem to, you know, get ready to live on the moon or whatever like that. It's like, I got you. I mean, like, is that what we're doing? Because I can do that. I can do that. Like, it's not even hard. Well, keeping it going is hard. But setup and execution and all that, you know what I mean? You're going to find these flaws along the way, and you'll know in the going. You'll know in the going. You'll know in the going. But you get all locked up in procrastination and all this kind of stuff. And stuff about self-sabotage and all this kind of stuff like that. That's where Satan has got in there and put a fear of failure. And if you'll embrace that, it's going to be fucked up. Sorry for cussing, man. I'm really trying to not cuss, but like, I'm emotionally charged in saying that it is not going to be perfect. Have you ever seen somebody on a farm, and then you go to somebody that lives in a gated community, and you look at their house? You know what I mean? You look at their house. You look at the way they live. You look at their attention to details and stuff like that. And you'll see that farmer is like, man, this guy lives like a pig. I think he's got a pig out in that field. And, you know, it's kind of dirty around there. You know, it could use some cleaning or whatever. Then you go to this other place, it's just squared away. I mean, they didn't use caulking in the crown molding. I mean, everything's butted tight. I mean, it's to the nines. The wainscoting on the walls is, you know, cedar and, you know, hand carved tongue and groove. And I mean, you know, they had a carpenter making $170 an hour in here for, you know, the 500 hours, just, you know, cabinets or whatever, you know what I mean? And you go in there, you know, this dude's doghouse is a 2-bedroom apartment or whatever. You know, it's like gated, you know, and there's all the fancy stuff. There's a freaking lion burping up water beside the pool. And just like super fancy, just like, and everything's to a T. And then like you go to these places, like when I lived in Florida, I would go to places like that to do work, right? And I would go there, and of course I'm working for somebody else, and they got the contract to go there because they, you know, play golf with people. And then I go in there, and they tell me like, hey, when we go over here to put the roof on the Hilton on Singer Island, like be there every day at this time and leave every day at this time. But I don't care how much you get there. What? No, we just need to be on the scene long enough to justify how much money we're taking. Because it's millions of dollars. Millions of dollars. Oh, well, that, I understand how you gave me that money now. Okay, so, but we did the same thing over there in 8 hours. Okay. You know, so like make it make sense type of deal is understandable. In logistics, it don't work. That's construction. In logistics, there again, I have no idea why they do it. I have no idea. It's industry wide. I'm going to have to say they're doing it that way they can drive down the price of labor for everybody. Like somebody, whoever's paying for the shipping is hiring people to drive the prices down, which is retarded because it ruins the base that's going to buy your stuff. Okay? If all the companies that use logistics got together and they're like, we're going to pay the broker $4 a mile and all the companies are going to get $3 a mile, the service level would elevate and all the workers would be profitable. And everybody involved would buy your products. That really fixes it. I mean, seriously, like, for real. And the upside is, you're not driving down the road with some Chinesium drive tire or steer tire just blowing out, and you got some guy that can't speak English driving, and he's not maintaining his equipment. So he's just on the verge of just like losing control and hitting your family head on in a car wreck anywhere USA. Probably happened 5 times today. So there's just overwhelming, thought of. Doesn't matter who you are. You just happen upon a wreck and you stop because the people in front of you have stopped. And Habib or Larry or Powell, whatever, doesn't matter where they're from. This dude's just not a good driver. And he's not paying attention. And a lot of them, to be honest with you, in the old days, when I was coming up, if you say, well, there's a baby stroller in the middle of the lane, what do? Trees and mountain on this side, cliff on the other. I'm running through the trees. These other guys, they're going to say, well, I'm going to hit the brakes, try to stop. Well, you can't stop. Well, I didn't mean to run them over. They ain't going to give their life to try to save yours, man. They are not. If you get a Christian driving the truck, he will kill himself avoiding running over your wife and kids. That's a fucking fact. That's a fact. You get one of these satanic dudes out here that's all about the green, they're in love with money and power, bro, it's a wrap. Hey, you can't pay a good man that'll do right. He's a good man, he's gonna do right one way or the other. That's developed. They're not a good. I know these soft-headed people out here running these trucks that are, some of the best dudes you'll ever meet in your life. I mean, you can pay him $5. Like, it's that farmer where he's like, yeah, I sell these for $85, and the sharks are like, charge more, and he's like, it ain't right. You know what I'm saying? Who do you want voting? Who do you want running stuff? Who do you want growing your food? Who do you want bringing your medical supplies to you? You want some dude that's in such a hurry that he's pooping in a sack and ain't washed his hands? There is nothing in your house that didn't come on a truck. And half of this stuff was the shipping and handling was handled by somebody you would not eat dinner with. Go to the truck stop. Think of bullshitting? Go to the truck stop, try it out. Go to the truck stop, watch what goes on, and say to yourself, the food I'm eating is coming from these guys. Just sit there. Just pull up in your car, drive around to the truck side, get off to the side of where the fuel island is, park where you can see them walking in and out, and hang out for 1 hour. If you think you're bad, if you're in traffic and you think to yourself, I don't know how these people put their clothes on, because they seem retarded. This is going straight, but there's a place right there. They got even parking available now. I think they do. I know this other place does. I'm gonna go to the other place. Oh, they did it. Yo. Hello?
Hello.
Hey, I got rolling and everything. I got the receipt and stuff. That outfit that come give me a jump start, I told him I'd give you their name. That way, if we ever have any trouble over there, they're a 24/7 outfit. So he showed right up. That was pretty good.
What they charge you?
$75.
Oh, that ain't bad at all.
Yeah, it's usually 200.
Yeah, well, I would think about 150, 125.
Yeah. Well, last time I got it done, they charged 200. But
But you are moving?
yeah, I'm rolling. I'm about to stop for the day because I'm out of hours. But this is going to San Antonio. I need to get down to Far after that. The way
Go
we
past
could,
West 6th Street and take a slight right to
Or,
stay
or,
on
or do
Georgia
you want me to
91
stop
South.
somewhere and get batteries?
You think it's batteries?
Oh yeah. I turned it off for not even 3 minutes. And it was already dead.
Oh, yeah.
I got a jump start about a week ago, but I had been sitting there for about 2 hours.
Take a slight right to
So
stay
I
on
thought it
Georgia
was
91 South.
Drained down from that, what you call it?
Well, yeah, don't turn the truck off till you get home.
Exactly. That's the plan.
Yep. Alrighty, man. If you need me, call me.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. So that's how that goes. Wow, this thing is telling me to turn around and go the other way. I guess we're not stopping at the truck stop. Let's see here. We got 25 minutes to find a place to park now. I see that's the other thing. We're trucking, it just all hits at the same time. But the Lord showed me that roadie's over there, and it looked like they had to stop. I was in the wrong lane. I was in the go straight lane, following the GPS. But had I just went to the left, probably could have found a spot. But the good news is, I'm moving towards the goal. So, if I get down here, I will make a decision. There's another spot down here. The last time I came this way, when I turned off, I seen a pull-off out to the side. So, really all this is affecting is whether or not I can, buy $20 worth of diesel in the morning if I needed to get yonder, since I can't turn it off. But yeah, that's what's up, and building the culture inside of your establishment, and putting the pieces together, it's a big deal. Oh, I totally could have parked right there. It says 14 miles to this turnoff. Pretty sure that's where that pullout's at. We'll go over and do that. I'll keep it nice and legal. Nice and legal is a good thing. We're getting 7.2. So 7.2 and 37 miles to go. So that's 5 gallons. And I got a quarter tank and a 100-gallon tank, so I should be all right. One of the things, if I was in the mountains, I would be in very much danger. The trucks got a big old long tank, so the slosh is a factor. If you're in the mountains, when you're going downhill, or if you're coming to a stop, that's when it'll run out. Like the pickup tubes at the back or something. So a lot of times, you come to a stop, the truck dies because it's out of fuel. If you can turn it on, prime the fuel pump, start it up, and you can take off and go probably 10 miles. It's crazy. But when you get to the other end, you go to stop again. Yeah. If you do that twice, generally the fuel filter's got to be changed too, because it will suck up all the trash out of the tank. So that's bad. They got a lot of walnut trees out this way. So anyway, that's system, culture, reason for living. Like it really just comes back to doing the right thing and everything. But you got to want it. You got to want it. Hey, the only way that you're going to want it is because life has kicked you in the pants so much that you're tired of that. And we all go through that. That is perfectly natural. And, you know, they say new levels, new devils. So the further you go down this road, the harder it's going to be. And the things that you're overcoming now would have shipwrecked you 10 years ago. Most of the time. If you're improving. You know what I mean? But just remember, it's like you're either getting closer to excellence or you're falling away. All the time. All the time. And generally speaking, in your downtime, it's about perspective. You know what I mean? If you need to take the time to kind of recharge your batteries, or your batteries are just plumb wore out, you know what I mean? You can step back from the situation and look at Revelations chapter 1, 2, and 3. I call it Rev It Up 1, 2, 3. And you'll see who God is and what He likes, what He doesn't like, and it's got the best promises. You know what I mean? So it's a way to set equilibrium, and knowing that the Creator of the universe, His set apart spirit within you, is literally there to help you. Like that is specifically for that. And it's available for everybody around you. So, like, I want everybody in the office to be able to answer the phone. Bro, I want everybody in the country to be in tune with the Holy Ghost, the Holy Spirit, the set-apart Spirit, the Helper. Because if everybody's doing that, like if everybody's operating system is the morals and ethics of Jesus Christ Himself, it doesn't get no better. You've never found a better group of people to run a business, to have a community. Like, dude, these politicians are retarded. They're absolutely out of their mind. You know what I'm saying? They're so compromised because do you have any idea what your situation would be like if everybody involved in the management structure had the morals and ethics of Jesus Christ, but they did what they were doing based off of that? You know what I mean? And if the voters are like that, and then they see you doing that, it's like, okay, that's a good dude. He does good stuff. Here's a list of good stuff he does. I do good stuff. You know what I mean? Like, just catch somebody out in public picking gum off the sidewalk just because. You know what I mean? If I see that dude, I'm like, we're voting for that guy. That's what's happening. That's what I'm doing. Why would you not? Why would you not? And then when you think about these, well, you probably, there's some reasons not to, I guess. If he's that concerned with cleaning up the streets, probably ain't gonna put up with everybody pooping everywhere. You know, if the problem of the day, if you walk outside and there's poop in your city on the sidewalk, those politicians are probably not concerned about the gum on the sidewalk. Like, they don't care about nothing. You know what I mean? They're criminally negligent. That is criminal negligence and a public health hazard. You know, just call it what it is. Like, you ain't got to be all offended because of how you feel. You can just call it what it is. Just call a spade a spade. You know, that is a, public health crisis. And you're the head of that department. You're criminally negligent. So you should forfeit your position, title, rank, and pension, all of it, because you're not doing the job. You're fired. You know, and if it's to the point that stuff is happening because you got paid to do it that way by some outsider, that's criminal. So, we should have some 5 to 10 year mandatories on that. It just turned right around. It just turned right around. I mean, seriously. It wouldn't even be that. It wouldn't even be that long for it to turn around. Anyway, I probably need to go back and watch this, make about 13 videos. One of these days, that's what I need to do. I need to just step back, take these points and elaborate in a, actual coherent manner where I'm actually focused. And compile a list of, degraffinated coffee, degraffinated company, degraffinated co-fee. The fee is, put God first. I'm anti-Satan. You've heard of the Antichrist? Well, I'm anti-Satan. Like, no. Like, I don't like evil. I just don't like it. It don't like me. I've never had anything good come out of it. I've never had anything good come out of doing evil. I don't like evil.